What do you need? What do you think you need to become rich? Or what do you need to get anyone you want? Or what does it take to become a world-class athlete? What if I told you that all of these require just one thing? There is one thing that, if you possess it, you will be capable of achieving almost anything. And that one thing is unshakable self-confidence. And before you misunderstand, this isn't the kind of confidence that 90% of YouTube videos talk about. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, you will soon understand. Before we go any further, I'd like to mention that at the end of this video, there's a surprise that you can take advantage of if you're really serious. A simple example, a girl at school. Let's take a simple case. You like a girl at school, and you'd like to start a conversation with her, but the questions start flooding in. Does she like me? How will she react? Will she laugh at me? Is it even worth the risk? Or what if she asks me something and I freeze up? We all know how this ends. You drop the idea and decide not to risk it. This happens over and over again, every single time. Then you end up at 25, not knowing how to talk to girls because you've never tried. The same applies to business, but the same situation happens in business. You don't know how to do it. You don't know if you'll succeed. You don't know if you'll be able to handle difficult situations, so you decide not to even try. I hate to disappoint you, but it won't get easier later. So you end up going to the same job every morning that you hate. You do your work and come home to an empty apartment because, of course, you don't have a girlfriend or wife since you don't dare, and you don't know how to talk to women. What were you missing? Now think about it. What was missing in you? What, if you had it, would have drastically changed both situations? Yes, it's confidence and self-esteem. This might seem like an exaggeration, but lacking enough self-confidence can really ruin people's lives. Real-life examples. Think about how many world-class footballers you've seen who couldn't get a girlfriend. Or how many successful entrepreneurs have you seen sitting alone at the back of a social event hoping no one notices them or thinks badly of them? Or how many world-famous musicians are there who don't dare to go on stage because they're afraid of what people might think? Not many, right? Yet football skills don't necessarily attract women. And having a good ear for music doesn't mean someone can perform in front of thousands and endure the negative comments from tens of thousands on the internet. The magic of confidence. It's just confidence and self-belief that make a good footballer attractive to women, that enable a successful businessman to easily steer any conversation, and that push a musician to perform live in front of hundreds of thousands. Though these are extreme examples, it works the same way on a smaller scale. You don't have to be a world-famous athlete, a rich entrepreneur, or a famous musician to have this kind of confidence. But here's something even better. Those who got to that point didn't become confident after they achieved success. In fact, it's the opposite. They achieved those successes thanks to their confidence. How to build unshakable confidence. So the question is, how can you build unshakable self-confidence that will help you through any tough situation? How can your belief in yourself be so strong that even after your 10th failed business, you keep trying because you know you'll eventually succeed? Or how can you keep approaching girls after 50 rejections because you know you're good enough to charm them? I think we can all agree that such a level of confidence is rare. But it's incredibly simple to gain, not easy, but simple. External and internal confidence. However, you'll have no chance of consciously building your confidence until you understand one vital thing that 95% of people fail at. There are two types of confidence. You can distinguish between confidence that comes from external sources and confidence that comes from deep within. External confidence comes from things like a good piece of clothing or a well-done haircut. It's very easy to gain, but in return, it doesn't last long and is very fragile. One well-placed comment, and it crumbles. It's so fragile. And this is where the problem begins, because almost all YouTube videos about confidence focus only on external confidence and teach you how to get that, if they even teach anything. But what you truly want is internal, authentic confidence that is always with you in any situation and can't be suppressed, no matter who tries. This won't disappear if someone makes a comment or if you fail a few times at something. This is what makes you able to answer without hesitation whenever you ask yourself, "Can I do this?" with a firm yes. How to gain confidence? And how can you gain this kind of confidence? It all starts with your perception. Everything you do, think, and believe is defined by your perception. Perception is the lens through which you view the world and yourself. An example of perception, the case of two men. Let's take, for example, two adult men. One was regularly beaten with a wooden spoon by his parents as a child. The other grew up in a loving family, often cooking and baking with his mother, who always used a wooden spoon. When these two men go into a store and see a wooden spoon, the sight evokes fear and anxiety in one, while it brings up happy, nostalgic childhood memories in the other. Yet both are looking at the same wooden spoon. The only difference between them is their perception. Perception at school. The same thing happens at school when two boys walk down the hallway and notice that the girls start giggling at them. One boy, struggling with low self-esteem, assumes the girls are laughing at him, that they find him ugly, or that there's something funny about him. The other boy, full of confidence, assumes the girls must like him, and that's why they're looking. Now, in reality, in both cases, the girls were looking because they found the boys attractive, but the low confidence led one of them to think something entirely different. This is what I mean when I say that everything starts with your perception. How can you change your perception? However, changing your perception is not as simple as just telling yourself you can do it or that you're capable. Because deep inside you, there's someone who won't believe it. Imagine there's a miniature version of yourself living in your head, controlling you from the background, with unlimited power over you. This version is always with you, watching every single decision you make, and remembering even the smallest details of everything you've ever done in your life. Subconscious control. This part of you will know if you break a promise made to others or to yourself, if you run away from a challenge, or if you get scared when facing an obstacle, just as it will know if you bravely take risks, keep your promises, or face challenges head on. In a way, it knows you better than you know yourself. And most importantly, its goal is the same as yours, for you to be successful, because it is a part of you. It is your subconscious. How to convince your subconscious. Your task is to impress your subconscious. It's like trying to impress a friend. Let's say you tell your friend that you dare to approach beautiful girls and start conversations with them. Of course, they don't believe you, so they want to see proof. Example: repetitive action. So you do it. You approach a beautiful girl and start a conversation with her. Your friend will probably say that it was just a one-time thing and that you won't dare do it again. So you do it again. Now they think that maybe you are capable, but they're still not fully convinced. So you do it again and again and again, each time reinforcing your friend's belief that you can indeed talk to beautiful girls. And if you do it enough, there will not be a single doubt left in your friend's mind that you really are capable of doing it. Convincing your subconscious works exactly the same way as convincing your friend. The only difference is that it's a little harder to convince than others. But in return, once you succeed, it will bring you infinitely more benefit than convincing anyone else. And this is no poetic exaggeration, how to convince your subconscious. Now comes the next problem. How do you convince your subconscious that you can really approach beautiful girls when deep down you know you're not capable of it? The answer is obvious. You must become capable of it. Practice and perseverance. But how? Through practice and perseverance, a lot of it. The whole process works like a video game. Let's say your character has level 1 fighting skills, so it would be quite difficult to defeat a high-level monster. To succeed, you need experience. You decide to try defeating it anyway. Of course, as a beginner, you fail, and the monster crushes you. However, along with the defeat, you gain something very important: XP points, or experience. Progress through experience. Next, you try fighting a weaker opponent who you can already handle. Then comes a slightly stronger one, and so on. As you progress, whether you win or lose, your XP points keep accumulating. Your character improves until you reach the point where you can defeat the biggest monster in the game. In real life, now replace the character with yourself. Replace defeating monsters with approaching beautiful girls, and replace XP with real-life experience. And voila, there's the solution. To be confident in something, you first need to become experienced and good at that thing. This requires knowledge and practice. The foundation of self-confidence. To such an extent that it becomes a solid foundation for your self-confidence. It's no coincidence that someone who has never spoken in front of people will be nervous even during a school presentation for 30 people, while someone who regularly gives presentations won't flinch in front of tens of thousands. This applies to any skill or field. Someone who has sold 1,000 products over the phone can be confident that they'll be able to sell the 1,001st one as well. In contrast, someone who's never done it has no way of knowing whether they'll be able to sell even one. Examples of confidence. This is why a doctor with 30 years of experience can confidently explain to a patient what their problem might be. I think you get the point by now. This is why true confidence cannot be faked. You can try, but it's ridiculously easy to expose if there's nothing behind it. Unshakable confidence. But what about that unshakable, deep-seated confidence that helps you get through any tough situation? That's what we're looking for, right? Well, that's the next level. Imagine your confidence as a burning fire. The bigger the flames, the stronger your confidence. Developing confidence. When you master a skill and become confident in it, it's like lighting a small campfire, symbolizing your confidence in that particular area. And when you become confident in multiple things, it means several burning stacks of wood. However, what you truly need is a raging firestorm that covers everything, breaking through anything in its path. Your job is to ignite the fire of confidence in so many different areas that it starts to spread and engulf everything. But how can you do this? Work on your weaknesses. It's very simple. Work on your weaknesses, because every person is only as confident as their weakest point allows them to be. Imagine that you're a successful businessman in the areas of entrepreneurship and finance. You have the necessary experience and knowledge, and thus your confidence as well. However, you've never in your life tried talking to girls, and you don't know how to behave around them, so sometimes you react very awkwardly to things. Examples of weak points. You go to a conference for entrepreneurs, thinking you'll walk in with your chest puffed out with confidence, talking to anyone. But in reality, this is impossible because deep down, you're afraid of the moment someone introduces you to a female acquaintance, and you'll start stuttering foolishly in front of her. Maybe this won't happen, but as long as the possibility is there, the little boss in your head will keep reminding you of it, not allowing your confident self to fully blossom. Your job, then, is not to leave such weak points unattended. Find areas to improve. First, you need to find the areas in your life that are important to you, but in which you're still terrible. For example, if you think it's important to look good and be healthy, and you feel this is crucial for your confidence, then start working out and eating right. It's important to note that you don't have to be a muscle-bound beast for this to work. Even gradual change can be more than enough. Areas to improve, these areas vary from person to person. If you can't think of any right now, I'll mention one that you absolutely need to work on: communication. The ability to understand others, to express yourself effectively, and to handle any social situation with ease is essential for anyone aiming to become a truly authentic, confident person. Verbal and nonverbal communication can be divided into two parts. There's verbal communication, the things you say, specifically what you say. And there's nonverbal communication, like when you gesture with your hands, use facial expressions, etc. For verbal communication, a perfect book is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Many consider this the Bible of communication, and it's still one of the best books out there, even though it's nearly 80 years old. For nonverbal communication, I recommend The Definitive Book of Body Language by Alan and Barbara Pease. The spread of confidence. If you gain the necessary confidence in all these important areas, you will ignite small campfires of confidence everywhere. And this fire will start to spread, crossing over to nearby trees and stacks of wood, gradually becoming larger and larger. The end of this process is a continuous, unstoppable, all-consuming firestorm that we call authentic, deep-seated confidence. Start working. I must warn you, the beginning will be the hardest, the first approach, the first business, the first challenge. But it's exactly these situations where external sources of confidence come in handy. These are like boosts or potions in video games that temporarily enhance certain attributes of your character so that, for the duration of a battle, you can even overcome an opponent slightly stronger than yourself. Similarly, a new piece of clothing or a new haircut can give you the extra push to talk to girls you wouldn't have dared approach before. Inner confidence. The most important thing is that the experience you gain will build your inner, deep-seated confidence until eventually, you won't need any external help to tackle the toughest challenges. So, external sources have their role too. If used wisely, they can help you build your internal confidence. Going back to the fire analogy, they're like the match that helps ignite a bigger fire, then eventually burns out itself. Take action. But as the quote says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to overcome your fear, don't sit at home thinking about it. Get up and get to work. Just watching this video won't automatically make you confident. We can't make a video that does that, no matter how hard we try. All we can do is explain how important this is and give you all the knowledge you need for your development. The action is up to you. Whether or not you take advantage of the opportunity this video provides is entirely up to you. It's your decision whether you start taking action right now or decide to deal with it later. But we all know what happens if you keep postponing things. Increasing lack of confidence, anxiety, depression. Take the first step. So I suggest you start now and take that first small step today. Light that small match today, which will turn into the all-consuming firestorm we call rock-solid confidence. Start thinking. And as a start, it's worth thinking about what's written on this t-shirt. What if you fail? But what if you don't? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps us out. And if you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. We truly appreciate your support.